even sadder.
Fair system yet. But the reality is that this is a very slim margin. The vote for Speaker was between Kevin McCarthy and Nancy Pelosi, and throwing the entire chamber into chaos would have been very detrimental for the Electoral College vote and everything else.
I later confronted Ryan about his failure to push back against Jayapal's claim on my podcast, and we had a constructive conversation about how things could have been handled differently. But since squad members rarely open themselves up to questioning from anyone in progressive media outside of Ryan Grimm at The Intercept, that missed opportunity was one that carried the lie that Kevin McCarthy could become Speaker if Democrats force the vote far and wide. Sam Seder was one of the most vocal opponents to force the vote. After, of course, he supported it. And following a 3-hour debate with me on my podcast, it was incredibly demoralizing to hear that he did not understand the basic facts of how the congressional vote even worked. I recommend everyone go and listen to that debate at Bad Faith if you haven't watched it already. Now, all of this was as obvious as the nose on my face 2 years ago. But major left media figures like Sam have been loud and wrong about this for years without any apology. This issue became the source of a major fissure in left politics. For years, I've been the subject of personal attacks from opponents of Force the Vote. Sam, for one, argued after a debate, which ended on a friendly note, that I, quote, yelled at him for 3 hours, while Cenk Uygur referred to me as a fake leftist just 6 months or so ago, in part because of my advocacy for Force the Vote and my perceived alliance with Jimmy Dore, who shared my support of this particular tactic. Now, of course, both the left media and mainstream media are perfectly clear on how all this works now that there's no pressure on progressives to actually be adversarial to the Democratic Party, outside, of course, wearing tax the rich sweatshirts. Now they get it. But while Democrats are bending over backward to pretend that the force the vote strategy is emblematic of a Republican Party in disarray, what this moment really shows is how fully controlled by the corporate Democratic Party progressive Democrats really are.
Yep.
What the rogue Republicans are fighting for now is not what I would have asked for. But the point is that progressives in 2021 could have asked for anything. My former colleague Ryan Grimm, along with progressives like AOC and Pramila Jayapal, bragged back then about securing relatively minor procedural changes like PAYGO exemptions. They lauded these gains so much, you would have thought that PAYGO was Esperanto for student debt cancellation, a $15 minimum wage, or a classic Oprah car giveaway. In 2021, these progressives celebrated wins much smaller than the wins already secured by the Republican holdouts this week. But now they're taking smug selfies from the House floor, as though McCarthy's concessions aren't proof that they gave up an enormous amount of leverage without a fight 2 years ago. And for what? What happened after they decided to play the game and make nice with Mama Bear? AOC tweeted that she wouldn't be forcing the vote because she was negotiating on the inside for committee appointments and was reserving leverage to fight for a $15 minimum wage. But how did that go, AOC? Biden and the corporate Dems killed the $15 minimum wage when Schumer stripped it from must-pass COVID legislation that only needed a bare majority to pass, converting a 51-vote issue into a filibuster-proof vote. And it was reported that Pramila Jayapal whipped votes to make sure the progressives didn't threaten to vote down the COVID relief bill in protest. I guess that sort of move is only allowed if you're Manchin or Sinema fighting for corporations, not progressives fighting for the people. Moreover, squad members ended up with even worse committee assignments than they'd had the previous year. Katie Porter was kicked off the Financial Services Committee, reportedly because her popular whiteboard presentations exposing corporate corruption made it tougher for Committee Chair Maxine Waters to do the real work of the Financial Services Committee, that is, fundraising from Wall Street. And this is what is so absolutely disappointing about progressives. It's why so many people who were once willing to fight with Bernie are no longer willing to engage in electoral politics at all. It has become clear that as performative and goofy as some of the right posturing is right now, people like Matt Gaetz are still willing to demonstrate more fight against the establishment of their own party than squad members who once claimed that they'd rather be one-term Congress members than forego their principles.
Bullshit.
Take a listen.
Humble to a fault, maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who wants it so bad. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who has sold shares of themselves for more than a decade to get it. Maybe Jim Jordan is the right person for Speaker of the House because he is not beholden to the lobbyists and special interests who have corrupted this place and corrupted this nation under the leadership of both Republicans and Democrats.
Now, Matt Gaetz was talking about Kevin McCarthy there, but he easily could have been talking about Nancy Pelosi. The difference is you won't hear a peep out of the squad about Nancy Pelosi's corruption, her unpopularity, or the fact that after a 30-year reign, she's allowed to choose her own successor without any real contest occurring whatsoever, even from the progressive flank. We're learning today that force the vote works. It comes with media backlash, but it is, in fact, an effective mechanism that can be used to get a whole range of important concessions and deliver for the people, if people choose. That being the case, every single person who opposed it in 2021 has to answer the question. Was bending the knee really worth it?
And that's what they did. They bent the knee.
I think they bent both knees.
And bent over.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they got comfortable down there.
So, Breonna Joy forced the vote vindicated. Matt Gaetz is doing what the squad should have done. That's the name of the title of it.
Yeah, man. Say, bro, things are getting a little bit outrageous, and I mean, it's so like this whole. See, I really can't wait for more of this stuff to reveal itself, because I mean, those of us who's been paying close attention can see a lot of this stuff is still. Some of it is still kind of like not all the way out, but it's a lot of it is coming out. Like, man, bro, these people are super criminals, and you know, like that message I sent y'all earlier. The real reason why they don't want Trump back in office. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he ain't gonna have no, like, they treating the way that they've been treating him. If he gets another chance, like, he's gonna have no holds barred. Like, anything that he can uncover. Like, they went in Mar-a-Lago. You know, and like, okay, they say they keep telling us it's these secret papers or whatever, but they say that it's top secret, so that's how they can get away with us not knowing exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because it's top secret. It ain't no telling what, you know. It could have been a little bit of nothing, but just a reason to just go in his house. We don't know. We're not gonna know that, but it's. I guarantee you, they mess around and let that man get back in office.
I don't know. It's going to be tougher for him this time. Let me read some comments. It says, thanks, Bree, for continuing to hold progressives accountable. Another comment, it says, this country has got to have a change in leadership. This passing the gavel from one buddy to another is destroying the country.
Yes.
Another comment, it says, do Congress members forget that they serve everyone they were elected to serve, not just the party they were nominated by?
They don't care about that.
Another comment, it says, wow, good to see someone on the left, facts, respect. Falling in line to the majority is not what I call representing the people. I'm proud of the pushback happening now, Republican Party.
Man, and you know, it sounds crazy, you know, and you know, maybe kind of conspiracy theorist talk, but why is it that all the stuff that's coming out, like you know, on some things, the Republicans can get the shit done. They work together, no problem. But then when it comes to others, it just seems like they're just bumbling fools and like just can't get their shit together. Well, how is that? Like,
You know my answer. My answer is good cop, bad cop.
well, I mean,
It's a game. It's a pretend. It's a theater. It's a show.
I like I said, I've been saying, like I think there's a lot more people on that R side that's been like, say, bro, me and a friend of mine was talking about this. Like a lot of the stuff that's getting done with the like the Democrats or whatever with the Republicans. All the Republicans that's helping, that shuts the hell up when when it's time, like when they really should be saying no, stuff that goes against their own ideology. Those are probably the ones that's on Epstein's list.